You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest, Aaron Zapata, Impact Real Estate. Welcome.
Hey, thank you so much for having me back.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we celebrate every morning. Today is September 28th. Why in the world? National North Carolina Day today? National Good Neighbor Day. Okay, we could go with that one. National Strawberry Cream Pie Day. Yeah, having beaten anorexia, I'll go with that one as well. I could go for that. And one that just does not really excite me too much, but I know there are a lot of people that will like this one. National Beer Day. Well, you know, I do have a bit of a reputation, so I'll come clean with everybody. The only beer that I've had in the last few years I really liked, it's called Not Your Father's Root Beer. Have you tried that one? It's a pretty good beer. I get it over here at Board and Brew. That's where they hooked me on it. Now, if you know the people there, bring a vanilla ice cream in there with you and put some of the Not Your Father's Root Beer on top of vanilla ice cream, and you too will be able to say that you've beaten anorexia. Absolutely. Good stuff right there. Looking at the markets. What are the markets doing this morning? We've been watching the markets for you. And the markets are fascinating right now because they're double-edged. Markets are always a future prediction of what's happening in the world. And the markets are pretty much discounting North Korea. They're basically saying that absolutely worthless. I know my guys are on here somewhere with that one. But they're saying there's no there there. They're also discounting the idea of what's going on with Iran. Another one of them that they're basically absolutely worthless.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous, worthless, either way. What are they looking at? Well, they're looking at the positive information from the president's agenda. How do I know that? Well, it's very simple. The proxy for a good economy is the U.S. 10-year Treasury. Right now, we're looking at 2.326. It's gone up significantly. Now, remember I told you when it was going to go down, and it did. I had shared with you last time we were around 2.34. I said it's going to go down to about 190. I was off by a little bit. I'm sorry. It went down to about 1.98. And it came back up. Now we're at 2.326. The markets are saying, you know something, all the tax cuts and the tax program, the tax reform that the president was talking about yesterday, good for the economy. Now, we can also look in the next step and say, okay, that's good for the economy. We like that idea. But we also see that the newest revision of the GDP, 3.1%. More good news in the market. 3.1%. Now, you have to remember, for the last 8 years, we've averaged 1.4%. So 3.1, think about that. I mean, yeah, it sounds like it's it's just a little bit more, but it's double. Think about this. What would you do if your income doubled? What would you do if your expenses maybe went in half? Think, what are the options? That when the GDP doubles It's a pretty significant number. Now, you know, you're not going to hear that on the lame street media. They won't share that information with you. They don't.
Nothing like a little air superiority.
They'd rather talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg telling us why Hillary Clinton lost the election, or I guess maybe lying to us about why Hillary Clinton lost the election.
You're absolutely useless.
She mentioned that it was a gender issue. Didn't mention the idea that might have been a work issue. See, if Hillary went to Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania, maybe people would have known her there. Maybe she would have had a better opportunity there. Just a thought. Good news out of Washington today. Now, very few times do you hear us talk about good news in Washington, D.C., and it's a bipartisan issue. Steve Scalise returned to the Capitol Hill this morning. I don't know anybody that can be upset about that one, but, you know, Chuck Schumer might have something. If you listen to Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, it's very fascinating listening to them because, thank goodness, they've been in Washington for at least 100 years. And I say that with all sincerity because they were there last century. But remember the Reagan tax reform? They used the exact same speeches they gave yesterday for the Reagan tax reform. They used the exact same speeches for the George Bush 43 tax reform, and at least they were able to clean them off, dust them off, and give the same speech. At least they didn't have to work too hard to get any new data out there. They were able to use the exact same talking points yesterday and about this one. Now, think about this. And I know that in California, we may not like some of the ideas of this, but doubling the individual deduction. So basically, if you earn up to $24,000, you pay zero in taxes. On your first $24,000, you're paying zero in taxes. Now, California, New York, Connecticut, they're going to be crying a bit, especially in the state legislatures, because one of the items on there to help pay for this whole thing, the idea is to eliminate the state and local tax credit. That's going to be the high tax states, the ones that like to tax you for everything. Obviously, California being one of those states. You're going to have to figure out a new way of dealing with that. But if you're a small business owner, and you should be, your taxes are going to go way, way down because you're going to get that at 28% is what the initial numbers are. So we'll see what happens there. More news. You got to love this one. And I've said that this is going to happen eventually. We've got people nowadays, the entitled group, and we talked about that. I love the idea that Alan Dershowitz is now going to sue Cal State Berkeley, or UC Berkeley, sorry about that. Dershowitz, now he's a devout Democrat suing the university system. It's going to be fascinating to see where this goes. I was listening to him this morning talking about the idea, if you are pro-Israel, you have to wait 8 weeks to get on calendar at Cal. If you are anti-Israel, you have to wait 3 days. Something a little odd there.
Got a bad feeling about this.
That's the idea. But Dershowitz, he's a strong guy and he's a constitutionalist. It'd be interesting. The issue that I was getting at, though, is the entitlement community. Well, now did you see the Southwest Airlines flight that was delayed? I think it was yesterday. Because there's a passenger on the plane who's highly allergic to dogs. And some people decided that that was going to be their kennel. The Southwest flight was going to be their kennel, taking their dogs on the plane. And she says she's deathly, a quote-unquote, deathly allergic to dogs after 2 boarded the flight from Baltimore to Los Angeles. 45-minute delay. They finally have to carry the lady out, dragging, kicking, and screaming off the plane because she's allergic to dogs and they want to make sure that the dogs are on the plane. Yeah, that's where our world is heading these days. I go to a restaurant frequently on Saturday mornings, and sometimes there's more dogs there than there are people, but I'm just wondering at what point do the restaurants start seeing what the NFL is seeing, that people will stop going to certain places and stop frequenting them? Because you know something? I love dogs. I've got one. I don't bring it wherever I go. I don't have separation anxiety. I can leave my dog at home, and I don't start getting cold sweats and going through problems, but we'll see what happens. Tonight, Are you going to be watching? Maybe you don't have the opportunity to watch the Packers against the Bears because it's going to be the first of the games on Amazon Prime. That's where you're going to be able to watch the Packers versus Bears. And the Packers want everybody to stand up in unity and link arms during the national anthem. I guess that's something new. You don't put your hand over your heart. You don't stand at attention. You link arms. Now, I don't know what they're linking arms for. Is it for diversity or university? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand some of the issues of where people are going with this. But I do know that 55% of America is not with the NFL right now. And DirecTV, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with AT&T. They own DirecTV because DirecTV is allowing people to cancel their NFL Sunday ticket. It's going to be fascinating to see how many people do cancel the NFL Sunday ticket. And I was thrilled to see, in fact, being that he's an NFL lineman, Mr. Villanueva, his jersey went to #1 sales. Being that he's an NFL lineman, I wonder if I could buy a jersey. I mean, they might have them in my size. I'm not sure, but
they would. They would fit.
They'll fit. Okay. He's a big guy, and but I don't know if they have the legit sizes, Aaron. I don't know.
Just go ask him for his.
Yeah, there you go. I'll go to what was that? You and I are probably old enough to remember the Mean Joe Green commercial, right? Yeah, getting Joe's jersey. Amazing. That's pretty interesting stuff there, and 68% of Americans want a major change in the tax system. You don't get 68% of Americans in tune with anything. Probably middle America, because Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, they don't like the changes. They don't want you to save money. That's their issue. We'll keep on moving right here this morning. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to be chatting with Aaron Zapata. We're going to talk about wire fraud. Repo conference. We get a report from him on what happened there, and he's going in competition with us, but that's okay. He's going to be doing a podcast, and I love it. Great information. The more we get out there, the better it is for everybody. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us. Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. No advertising there. You just go sign up on the app. It's free, totally free, no cost. That's definition of free, just in case you didn't remember that part. And I'm a simple guy. Sometimes I need those two different words, free and no cost. They're together. Put in the amount of bedrooms you want, the location you want, the number of bathrooms you want, price range. Anytime something new comes on the market, you're going to get a text message right from our friends there at Nest, and they'll help you out with that. If you're thinking of selling your home, competition is coming. The number of building permits issued for single-family homes is the best indicator of how many newly built homes will rise over the next few months. According to the latest U.S. Census Bureau and U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development residential sales report, the number of these permits were up 7.7% over last year. So how will this impact buyers? More inventory means more options. Danielle Hall, Realtor.com's chief economist, explained this is good news for the housing market, especially for those looking to buy, quote, "It's not spectacular construction growth, but it's slow and steady in the right direction. Eventually, the pickup in single-family home construction will mean buyers will have more options, especially with the limited number of sales right now. More options are really needed," unquote. How will it impact sellers? More inventory means more competition today because of the tremendous lack of inventory. A seller can expect a great price on their home as buyers outbid each other for it. Quick sale as buyers have so little to choose from. Fewer hassles as buyers don't want to rock the boat on the deal. And with an increase in competition, the seller may not enjoy these same benefits. As Hale said, quote, as new construction continues to increase, home shoppers will eventually have more choices and a bit more time to make purchase decisions compared to today's quick-moving housing market, unquote. The bottom line, if you're considering the sale of your home, it might make sense to beat this new competition, the new construction competition, to the market. That is the real-time real estate segment. And one thing to remember here, I'm going to throw a plug out here for my friends in the real estate industry. I do have a real estate license. I do not use it, so there's no conflict of interest. If you go to buy a new home, if you're going to buy new construction, bring your own real estate person with you. If you're there and just walking around, sign in as Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck or Donald Mouse or something like that. Don't give them your real name. And then bring your own real estate professional with you. The contracts that the new home builders use is something they create. You want your own real estate professional there to protect you. And it's not going to cost you any extra money. So make sure to do that ahead of time. And we'll see if I'm on the right track here. Our friend Aaron Zapata, Impact Real Estate, is with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for that, Ron.
Did I miss anything there? I mean, it's not going to cost somebody extra to bring a real estate, and they're going to be protected.
Absolutely not. It doesn't cost them anything extra, and it is a good idea because you're buying a home, the biggest asset purchase of your life typically, and to have someone that just helps look over all the disclosures, all of the contracts with you, it's a great idea.
Well, I thought we might be there. What do you think about the idea? Are you here? Now, you went to this the 5-Star Repo Conference. What are they talking about? Or do they even mention? I mean, you got 1,700 real estate professionals in the same room, and that means you probably have 1,900 opinions.
Correct.
And what is their commentary about the market, where we're heading? Are they seeing new construction coming on? What's going on?
Well, Ron, what the 5-Star Conference is, it's an annual conference held usually in Texas. It was in Dallas last week. And it's a membership-only conference where you come and you participate in a lot of trainings, a lot of seminars from all of the top mortgage servicers. So the people that collect the checks and then send out foreclosure notices if they're late, they all come together and they give us education. And for the most part, the education for us, however, comes from talking with the other realtors that are there. There are 1,700 realtors, about 200 people from the servicing industry. And oddly enough, this was the smallest conference they've had in about 10 years.
Wow.
Because the number of bank repos that are on the market has dwindled to a 10-year low. So we've had a phenomenal real estate recovery, and that has led to the fewest number of bank repos that they've had in an extremely long time. I have some contacts at Wells Fargo. I have some other contacts in different servicing industry leaders, and they all tell me, Aaron, we're at a 10-year low. So we're really changing things up. People are being laid off, and it really depends on where they're at, but overall they're down. California particularly, way down.
Yeah, and we see that when we're looking at some of the other charts that are coming out, that distressed property of all sorts is almost non-existent.
Yeah, we are seeing a slight increase in the bank repo inventory here in Southern California, but the move is the increase is so minimal that it's not even a blip on the radar.
So what's going to happen, though, Aaron? Maybe they addressed this a little bit there, and maybe you even know it from other experience. Aaron's one of the few people that come in an MBA and doing real estate as well, so you've got a very diverse background. But when we had the meltdown, and we're basically at 10 years out right now, had a lot of the loan modifications had recasting periods for 10 years.
Yes.
Are they talking about anything happening along those lines now?
Well, with the housing prices that recovering so well, most of those people that were underwater are no longer underwater. Now, here in Southern California, there are some Inland Empire properties that are still underwater, but for the most part, they're not concerned about it because a lot of them have refinanced out of it. Also, incomes are up, spending is up. And so their number of defaults on even the home equity line of credits and seconds, they're just minimal.
And that was one of the big precursors that we were able to see in 2006 and 2007 was defaults on the home equity lines of credit,
right?
Which then led to the default on the first mortgages.
Right. I was trying to get into this one meeting. I thought every agent wanted to be there, so I kind of went up there and I was just like, hey, tell me about how many assets you have or bank repos you have in California. And keep in mind, this is like the one meeting where people wanted to be at because this company had quite a few nationwide. And as I'm talking to the guy who's the gatekeeper of this meeting, I said, well, how many do you have in California? And he says, the last I checked, we had 12. That means they had
there was
12,
no zeros after that.
12 bank repos in all of California. And I thought at that moment, well, I guess I don't need to be in this meeting. And in fact, we just got a notice yesterday that was published. In fact, that company lost the HUD contract for HUD, and their HUD's taking it somewhere else. But just to go to the point that they have even less now than they did a week ago when I was there.
Now, was there any conversation there, maybe it was the wrong venue, about what they might have in their inventory that they haven't cleared through yet, or is that basically all cleared through?
No, basically what's different about today's market versus 10 years ago is that banks realized they shot themselves in the foot by just foreclosing on everybody. And so they've created a new mechanism or a new tool to help alleviate any of those distressed assets. And what they're doing is they're selling non-performing loans in bulk to a lot of hedge funds and a lot of private equity firms that are buying them and then at a really pennies on the dollar and then those equity firms are able to go out and make really good deals with the homeowners or foreclose on them, but most of them are not coming back to the market as bank repos at a discounted price. So it's basically eliminated.
So there's no if you look at if you're looking for a discount or the big bargain on the distressed property, you're probably not going to find that.
You're not. If you look in all of Orange County, bank repos and even short sales make up less than 2% of the entire market. And because inventory or the number of homes for sale is so low, that even those properties are getting premium prices.
So, and one of the things that we'll talk about when we come back that I want to chat with Aaron about is the idea that we just saw a number come out that home sales were down. Why is that? So we'll talk about that when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We'll also talk about some mistakes people are making with their credit cards and what a roommate saves you in the U.S. All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, and on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payment, you tax-free in your home. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com, You have a credit report. It is wrong. I know that. There's not a whole lot of question about it. Just because I've been looking at credit reports since the 90s, and I've never seen, or in the 80s actually, I've never seen a credit report that's completely accurate. Never. I don't know why you think yours is. CreditSanitizer.com. You can go in there, register, get the free e-course on credit information. If you want some good credit counsel, we can help you with that as well. Mistakes you're making with credit cards, even if you think you're doing everything right when it comes to using your credit cards, like looking for low interest rates, taking advantage of rewards programs, paying your bills on time. You may be making some credit card mistakes that could potentially be costing you thousands of dollars. Only 35% of credit card users in the U.S. pay their bill in full each month. 35%. The average consumer is $4,717 in debt. If you aren't careful, you could end up paying thousands more in interest on top of that. Think about some of those numbers. How does it happen? Well, you take advantage of the special when you walk into the store, into a retail store, and say, you know something, that TV is only going to cost me $20 a month. And then you forget to pay the bill on time and you've got a big issue. Pay the bills on time. I've shared this with you over and over again. If you're the first-time listener, thank you for joining us. Go right after we finish the broadcast today, because Aaron's got some great information to share with you. But right after the broadcast, go online to your bank. If your bank doesn't have an online service, get a new bank. But go online to your bank and set up a minimum payment for every credit card that you use right before the payment due date for a minimum amount. It doesn't matter what it is, $25, $50, $100, whatever your normal minimum payment is. Set it up so it does it monthly. So if you fall down and hit your head and don't remember, it's still going to make that payment for you. Make it. Make a payment right before. Your biggest payment needs to be done before the statement closing date. The due date is irrelevant for your credit score. The statement closing date is the important date for your credit score, so make sure you're doing that. Look at the credit card offers. You might say that this offer is better. If you've got a high fee on one of your credit cards, call and tell them that you either want it reduced or canceled. Most of the time, they'll have some way of reducing it instead of losing you. Now, if it's a real old credit card and you only have one of them, keep that card, because if your scoring or your age of credit diminishes, that's going to hurt your score. Make sure you're watching your credit, especially right now. EquifaxSecurity2017.com. EquifaxSecurity2017.com. Very, very important that you're registered there and checking your credit report on a regular basis. Now, that location, it's generally a $30 a month is what they charge for that. But because of the Equifax breach, they're doing it for free for the next year. Now, here's something just for you. I know it's just you and I chatting here this morning. Don't tell anybody else about this secret, because it's just you and I. If you cancel it, once they start charging, they reduce the price by 50%. Just saying. Now, you don't want to be bragging about that kind of stuff. That's just a small piece of the information. That's your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Continuing our conversation, Aaron Zapata, Impact Real Estate, is with us this morning. He is the brand new purveyor of a new podcast. We're going to get into that as well. But he's helping lots of folks here in Southern California with their housing needs. Comes at it from a little bit of a different perspective. And I shared this yesterday. Anybody that comes on our broadcast, one of the big issues I say about our broadcasts is I don't want any salespeople on the broadcast. I want people that are coming here with the heart of a teacher. That's the idea, because we're sharing information. We want you to have every possibility of success that we can. So, Aaron, we were chatting earlier about people finding homes in the last segment. Is it possible to find a home now, or is it just, give it up?
Oh, it's totally possible, especially right now going into the end of the year. Homes do tend to sit on the market a little bit longer, but the total number of properties we have for sale is down quite a bit this year over last year, and I think that's largely in part simply because of the home prices. We all know that if homes are selling at $400,000 and $500,000 in Orange County, that is affordable for most families. However, you start getting into the sevens and now the eights and $900,000, where a lot of the homes are, and that's a little bit out of the price range for most people. And so it really depends on your price point. So let me rephrase my answer. It really depends.
Okay.
Like if you're looking for under 500 in Orange County, that's really tough. But I wouldn't give up. Because there are those that are out there, and you may have to look at some of homes that are not in as great condition.
A little elbow grease.
A little elbow grease. As a realtor, I look at the pictures, and if you have a horrible looking picture as the marketing photo on Zillow or Redfin or in the multiple listing service, like those are great properties to take your buyers to, because the condition may be not as bad as it looks. And so those are kind of the diamonds in the rough, looking for really poorly marketed pictures, homes with bad pictures, bad descriptions. You actually might find a good house out there.
And Aaron's giving you a lot of great information on the local market. Some of the things that you're going to hear in the news, they're dealing with the national market. And I look at the national market as well. A lot of the year-over-year sales that were down were people that were getting ready for the hurricanes.
Sure.
Right? They heard in the news that they've got the hurricanes and floods, and they said, something, I'm going to put off buying. And now you got a lot of those properties having to be rebuilt. Next year, we're going to have, in addition to the new properties coming on the market, we're going to have all those folks that were kind of pushed off or pushed back.
Right.
Their idea of buying going on there.
Well, places like Houston and South Texas, where a lot of the homes literally are, the market's destroyed.
Sure.
Because they can't sell homes that have damage. I mean, they can, but they're not going to get the money for them. And so that whole market's been delayed. Those are going to go into your national statistics. And you can't always trust what you see on television as the housing.
Well, that's a surprise.
That's surprising, right? Yeah, but you just have to talk to someone local that knows the local market.
Right, and that's the issue that I wanted to get to, is because when you're watching the national numbers, the national numbers, it's like saying that somebody bought a house in Newport Beach. It doesn't matter to me. I can't afford Newport Beach.
Sure.
Right, so I want to worry about my area where I can afford.
Right.
Right, that's all that really matters in those issues.
That's right.
Aaron, you and I chat a lot about, and especially being that today is Thursday, we try and do Senior Day on Thursdays. Story time with Aaron.
Oh, story time. Love it.
So share this one with us a little bit. I mean, I'm a big proponent of the reverse mortgage. I'm also a proponent of the PACE programs. But I'm also a big proponent that you've got to do due diligence.
Absolutely. And I am not opposed to the reverse mortgage. I think it works for the right people in the right circumstances. I am really mad, though, about this particular circumstance where I believe a contractor took advantage of one of my clients. She was on a reverse mortgage, very limited income, and at the age where she doesn't remember everything. And so I've already talked to an attorney about this one, and I'm not going to go into the legal side of this, but it's a very important thing for everybody who's got a parent that's on a reverse mortgage. They need to know what's going on with their mom and dad. If they show up at the house and all of a sudden they got brand new windows and a new roof and a new paint job, they need to ask the question, where did that come from? And in this particular circumstance, a contractor came out and billed my client $63,000 worth of work.
Wow.
For home improvements. And then they billed it through the HERO program, through the PACE program, and attached the bill to her property taxes. And her property taxes literally went from $700 a year to $7,700 a year.
Wow.
And because she cannot afford that, the reverse mortgage company had to front the property taxes, which thereby breached her mortgage contract, and she's now in foreclosure. And so something like that is absolutely devastating to anybody. And there's really not much we can do about it because they have recorded conversations of her acknowledging that the payments are going to go up. Now, she doesn't remember them. And so we've trying to get more help for her. But this is a situation where, kids weren't involved, and all of a sudden they find out that mom's in foreclosure because of this contractor that came out and billed it through the HERO program. And the payback for that $63,000 over the next 20 years amortized on her property taxes is over $144,000.
Wow.
For this property. It's absolutely, in my mind, criminal.
Sure.
I'm really mad.
Well, one of the big issues there that we want to really hit home on, and I know that we get a lot of seniors, especially on Thursdays, watching and listening to us, have these conversations with your kids. It's very, very important. Let them know what's going on. Have it, it's not that you're old, you are by definition older than your kids, but it's not an issue there of something to be upset about. The idea is 2 eyes are better than one. I'm going to throw this out there, and I'm going to volunteer Aaron, and I'll volunteer myself as well. If you're one of Aaron's clients, I know him well enough. If somebody's coming out there as a contractor and you want a second set of eyes, call him.
Absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Call me. That's what we're here for. We're not here just to be doing one step at a time, because we want to look at something like this. We don't want these things to happen. I know the people very, very well over at the Hero program. They don't want something like this to happen. It's not only is it bad for you as a senior, it's bad for them because we're talking about them in a negative way right now on Ron Siegel Radio. The idea here is the Hero program, I love it. I think it's a great program for the right person. When you've got a senior, take number one, with any program, you got to shop it.
You do.
Right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's $63,000 worth of home improvement. Based on what I'm seeing, I bet that might have been some price gouging in there.
Absolutely. I ran it by my contractor. It should have been about $30,000.
Okay, so they doubled it because they were able to stiff a senior. And that just gets under my craw.
Yeah.
That's a contractor that somebody should be reporting that contractor to the Better Business Bureau, to the contractors board. Somebody needs to be talking to our friends over at Renovate America to see what they can do. Right? And I know Aaron well enough. I know all this stuff is in play already. But the bottom line of what we're trying to discuss here is nothing more than have conversations, ask questions.
Yeah.
Right? Use your resources. Aaron's in real estate, but he's in the people business.
Absolutely. And I've had people come to my office. I've had parents with elderly parents with their kids reviewing documents with me, going over the numbers, because I've got children that are paranoid that their parents took out a reverse mortgage. And then we've got people doing hero loans or these energy improvement projects. And just by looking at paperwork and by talking through the options, we're able to make a really good decision for the family. Sometimes it's to move forward. Sometimes it's to sell a property. Sometimes it's to refinance a reverse mortgage, because you can do that.
Sure.
There's lots of different options.
A lot of options in there. And that's the idea of being, that's why I said open the segment with the heart of a teacher. It's not about selling something. It's about being able to educate people to get the right, maybe this was the right answer. In this case, obviously it wasn't, but at least if you go through it and discuss it and work it out, and maybe you find that at half the price it made sense, who knows? But you got to have those conversations. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to chat about Teacher Aaron, and the new podcast. We'll chat about that and a lot more. We're going to also talk about what a roommate saves you in 50 U.S. cities. Stay tuned. We'll be back. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Mortgage Minute today, being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. They are the only ones that I know of that have the Fast Pass loan approval. Fast Pass loan approval. Notice I did not say pre-approval because it is not a pre-approval. It's already been underwritten. All the data has been verified. Gold Star Mortgage. What a roommate saves you in 50 U.S. cities. This is the 2017 edition. High rents forcing more and more people to live with roommates. The census estimates, you ready for this one? 5.8 million Americans currently have a roommate. Benefits from living with another person vary from city to city. In some cities, it may not be worth the hassle. In other places, however, especially where homes are a little bit more on the expensive side, living with a roommate can save you thousands of dollars. Yeah, I don't want to get into all the details here, but a lot of the big cities that are on the list: San Francisco, New York, Boston, San Jose, Oakland. Somebody really wants to have a roommate in Oakland? I'm not sure why anybody wants to even live in Oakland. Los Angeles, D.C., San Diego, love that one. Chicago, Seattle are the top 10 of the cities. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you again by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. Just a couple of hellos out there. John Ringler, good to see you on here this morning. Samir, good to see you as well. What's up to you too? I saw a couple others on here. Matthew, thanks for that shout out there. We try to give good information as much as possible. Roger, good to see you as well. Hey, it's my 10th anniversary on Sunday. You're not going to believe it. I have bariatric bypass, not wedding. That's the fun of it. Glad to see you all with us. If you have questions, throw them in there. So, Aaron, we got information here. Aaron Zapata, Impact Real Estate, is our guest today. New podcast.
Yeah, I got a new podcast coming out.
Cool.
Actually, just launched yesterday at 5 p.m. I got the approval from iTunes, so I'm very excited about it. It's called the Impact Real Estate Success Podcast. It's a tongue twister, but it was,
you have to say that slowly.
Yeah, Impact Real Estate Success Podcast. And what it is, it's a format where I get to interview top producing realtors all around the globe to ask them about how they have been able to get to the top It's about agents. It's really geared towards other realtors and agents and mortgage lenders as well. Pretty much anybody in the industry. And one of the things that we know is important as professionals is to always continue our education. You know, different industries have continuing education requirements. Doctors, CPAs, and realtors do as well. However, some of that's just the minimum requirements to learn. And so what I've been able to do is get on the phone with a number of people and interview them about their business, what they're doing, what's working, what's not working, so that we can all learn and increase.
So is it geared more for a consumer then, or is it geared for an industry professional?
Actually, it's geared for an industry professional.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but anybody can learn from it, and there are tips and things along the way that anybody will learn from. But it's also geared towards any entrepreneur. So anybody that is running a business is going to find the things we talk about helpful. So I'm very excited that it got launched, and it is there at aaronzapata.com/podcast. You can find it there.
Okay.
And you can subscribe to it on iTunes. It's not out yet for Android or for Stitcher Radio or anything like that yet, but it will be coming.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you'll have it on all of them.
Absolutely.
So make sure you go there, aaronzapata.com/podcast. Probably easier than going to iTunes and trying to find it there.
Yes. Or if you go to iTunes, you can just search for Aaron Zapata, and it will come up.
Okay, got it there. So before we go on to continuing our conversation, I want to throw this out there, Aaron. We've got you had mentioned that with one of the asset managers that you met with.
Yeah.
That they said there was a limited number of distressed properties.
Correct.
What was the number you mentioned?
The one company that I talked to regarding California, they had 12 in their inventory.
That is a key piece of information, because I am sitting here in my hot little hand with 4 tickets to the Orange County Auto Show. I didn't realize it. It starts today. It runs through Sunday. 4 free tickets to go in there and just put the number 12 on the replay on Ron Siegel Radio, and then somehow our team is going to figure out that random number thing that Facebook has.
Yes, the randomizer.
The randomizer.
Yes.
So we'll find somebody's going to win 4 free tickets, and we'll get those off to you. So the number 12 is going to be the correct answer.
It's the secret number.
The secret number. Write it down.
2.
Yeah, and remember, like I said before in the last segment, there's no zeros after it. I mean, that's a fascinating number. So, you know, Aaron, I love what you shared right there, because every industry, and ironically enough, even though I'm in the industry, real estate is unfortunately one of the worst in the sense of the educational requirements that, I mean, they got a great lobby. Right. So because of having a great lobby, you have to have, it takes 18 months to become licensed to cut hair, and another 18 to find mine. I'm not going to even say anything to you. But 90 days to get a real estate license, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, the idea there of somebody needing what you're talking about, because you're talking practicality, you're not talking about lot maps and water tables and things like that.
Yeah, we're just talking about the basic professionalism that really is required. And there's no professional standard needed to get your license. You just have to take a few classes, get your license, and you're done, and you're ready to sell. So I realized that I wanted to raise the bar, not only for my agents that work at Impact Properties, but also for anybody that's listening, because it is so easy, and that's unfortunate. And so a lot of people have horrible experiences with realtors, and that's just not good for the industry. It's not good for any industry to be able to say, I mean, I've had multiple people come to me, Ron, and say, you know, I really hated realtors until I met you. And that's a really sad thing for anybody to say about anybody.
Right.
And it's a real bad statement about the real estate industry.
Right, when you have pride in your industry, it makes you feel bad.
Well, and I'm trying to change that.
Sure. And that's a great thing. You know, I did an article, I think, or a story on Monday, that was talking about 35% of the millennials are shocked at closing costs. And to me, that's just talking about the idea that they're just not getting educated from their realtor and their lender.
Right. They don't realize that you pay for escrow and title and origination and underwriting and processing, and they get to the closing table and it's like, what do you mean I need an extra $6,000 or I need an extra $8,000?
Right.
And that's because they haven't been educated. They haven't been taught what they're going to need.
And that's a shame, because the whole industry, the whole real estate profession, and when I say that, I'm including the lenders and the title companies, the escrow companies, although for the most part, the title and escrow people never ever see the consumer until the very last minute.
Yeah.
So it's generally the realtor and the lender that are not giving out the right information, not educating people.
Right. You know, and I'm not opposed to a person going out and using a brand new agent, but that agent needs to be under the supervision of somebody that can walk them and their client through the process well.
Well, and I've said that many times, Aaron, is that, you know, I've had my real estate license 2 or 3 years now, something I don't even know because I never use it. I am not qualified to go help somebody buy a house.
Right.
I'm qualified to introduce them to Aaron Zapata because he knows what he's doing.
Go ahead, keep going.
Right? So that's my point, though.
Yes,
is that
absolutely.
And as a newbie, it's a great industry. It's not a get-rich-quick industry.
No.
It's work.
Lots of work.
Right? I mean, I know the commission looks like it's all glory, but that's not the case. It's a lot of work. And you need to have mentors.
Absolutely. And so through this podcast, I'm hoping that people find the people I interview as their mentor. Because we talk about things like depression. I mean, we've had a number of interviews already. I talk to people about depression, about getting out of business, filing bankruptcy, just a lot of hardship and loss. But I think that gives us an accurate picture of what it is to be a successful lender or a realtor in this business. And it takes
a lot. You started off our program today, Aaron, talking about this. It's your largest transaction.
Absolutely.
Right? And you can't take that lightly. It's very, very important. You need to know somebody great in their industry that's got the heart of a teacher. That's why I bring Aaron in to chat with you. Give me a call and I'll put you in touch. And anywhere in the sound of my voice, I know real estate professionals because I'm going to some of the conferences that Aaron's talking about as well. And as I ask you every week or every day, set that first radio preset button to come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today, and of course a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun, have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.